What I like and dislike most about my job. There's not many things I dislike about my job. I think, in one of the previous questions I had talked about, you have good days and you have bad days. One thing about working in animal sheltering, just welfare in general, is you have good days and you have bad days, and it'd be nice to get rid of the bad days, but that's why we exist, and what we do is trying to get rid of the bad days so that we can have those good days. As far as what I like most about my job, I get a chance to hang out with animals, and I also get a chance to work with members of the community that come in directly to find, another member to their family, someone to cuddle, someone to go for hikes with. The things I like best about my job is getting a chance that I get to work with people and animals, and I get to find the space in between and kind of bridge that gap between them. So that's a pretty fun part of it. Yeah. The key decisions I made in my career to kind of get me to the point that I am now. I started just as a general, line staff, I guess is what some professionals call them. I started at the bottom, and really, I made the decision that if I was going to do something that I was passionate about, I was going to throw everything into it. And I feel like I've done that to a certain extent, but there's always room for growth. There's always more to be done, which attacking it and really following not only the rules of the place and doing the bare minimum, but one thing that really has gotten me to progress in my career here, and getting a chance to do some of the cooler things of being the manager, is the hard work and doing extra things that I can to help. If I have ideas, you share them. If people need help, you help. But yeah, it's elbow grease to a certain extent, but really it's also being willing to think outside the box, but also to work outside the box. How difficult is it to get a job in animal sheltering, at a humane society? It depends on the area that you're working in. Some places need more help than others, but it's not difficult. What is difficult is understanding that you're going to need to work. This is an industry that there's no real easy path here. I talked about some things being easier, some things being harder, but ultimately you have to be prepared to work, and those are the people that last in our industry, is people that are devoted to it, and it's always good to have that little spark of passion in this industry to kind of push you through some of the tougher times. But I will say one thing is I work with a majority of women. They may be better people than men, but there's not many dudes out there that work in this field. I don't know necessarily why that is, but I think that would be it would be definitely worth men's time, even though it feels like maybe, I don't know if it's the animals or seem cutesy or whatnot, but tell that to me when I'm holding a 7-foot python, or hanging out with some of these big German shepherds. Yeah, you can call me a wuss then, but ultimately, more dudes. So as far as balancing my work and life here, I work 40+ hours a week. I love it. So there are some elements that carry over into my life. Dog training. Sometimes I take dogs home to foster, in which case, work never stops. But it's sort of one of those jobs where if you love it, it's work, but it's a work that I enjoy doing, and I feel good about. I feel better about my life just simply through the work that I do. For me, I don't have as big of a problem as, letting it bleed over, because ultimately, the lives and animals of people are what my work is, and that's sort of what I like about my own life, is filled with people and animals. So, It is a workload to work in a shelter, you know, so you do have to be prepared maybe for some concessions, you know, long work weeks. Some days are better than others as far as, you know, recuperating. Sometimes I just feel like sitting in my bed and watching Netflix, get over the day, and some days are a lot better, and it's like go out and have a good time. But typically it's a healthy balance. And that can be a trick. Some people within our industry, you know, it does get a little tricky because sometimes you do need to just unplug and kind of draw a line somewhere for your own, you know, your own sake.